Like sand through the hourglass, so goes the time on the R&B Show. Can you dig it? And now, for our final countdown, here's Ricardo and Brett.
Final one. You're right, Rosie. Welcome to the R&B Show, episode number 38 of the only podcast dedicated to high school sports in the Fox Valley. It's been a long, long year, but we're wrapping it up finally with the final R&B Show podcast of the season. Again, I'm your co-host, Ricardo Arguello. Sitting alongside with me, as always, is Brett Christopherson, both of USA Today Network Wisconsin, that sultry voice you heard to start the show. Well, that's Jim Rosendick, Rosie. Now, I like calling him the Master Disaster, but Brett doesn't think that's a good nickname for him.
Well, that's Apollo Creed. That's not Jim Rosendick.
We've adopted it for Jim Rosendick. He doesn't have a copyright on that.
How about the Ramblin' Rosie?
Ramblin' Rosie.
Right.
I like Master Disaster better. But,
see, rambling can be two ways because I have been told I tell stories way too long. And,
well, that's exactly what he means, though.
I will say this about, Rosie and I hang out with each other more than we hang out with our spouses.
It's true.
And Rosie does have a tendency. He can talk. He is a talker.
Yeah. Yes.
He is a very good talker.
But so are all we are all this very much the same way.
He gets the prep for the ability to talk the longest. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, because I go into detail. I'm like that Stephen King novel that goes into detail that you probably don't even need to know.
You know what you do? You go into detail because you know it, but the person that you're talking to has no clue what you're saying half the time.
So he's the rambler.
Because it's one of those, like, it's the ability of a really good teacher who really knows their stuff. Like if some of us taught journalism, digital journalism, any kind of journalism, to a person who doesn't know it, it would be difficult if you're not talented enough to teach it.
See, but that's not what rambling is. Rambling when it's like when it doesn't even relate to the subject. And I'm sorry we're going off on a tangent here like we always do in the R&B Show, but let me give you an example. Back at UW Milwaukee, I had a professor in geology. I had to take that for whatever to finish up my bachelor degree.
How much have you used that, by the way?
None. But he would talk about rocks and about tectonic plates and about, when there's earthquakes and stuff like that and how the pressure between the two plates would hit each other. He goes, and the movement would be very much like similar to a slinky, the wavelength, the slinky. And then he'd just go off on a slinky for a little bit. He goes, slinky, a very popular children's toy in the 50s and 60s, brought much joy to many, many young people in the USA. It's like, where did that come from? Like, what are you talking about?
And did he start to go, Arguello?
No.
Arguello.
But people it was a pit. We would all just sit there and laugh as he was doing that. 'Cause he would do it every day. There'd be something that he would just go off on a tangent with. Like, where did this come? Why are you talking? I don't even know what you're talking about anymore. But anyway, that's what I mean when you hear rambling. But Rosie's not like that.
Well,
he's on subject.
Yeah, Ramblin' Rosie was also a nod to the great Neil Diamond, of course, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Cracklin' Rosie, but Ramblin' Rosie.
Ramblin' Rosie.
Sort of a
Jerk Ricardo.
Grumpy.
Whiny Brett.
Grumpy Brett.
Whiny Brett.
No, it's grumpy.
Grumpy Brett. But, okay, let's get back to the issue on hand here. We have a couple this is our final show. Here are a couple topics. First off, state track review. Going to talk about that for a little bit. I was there. Brett was there as a fan. Also going to talk about some of the things that are still going on right now as the spring season kind of comes to an end. State softball, baseball, soccer, tennis, and golf. And then we're ending the show with the Preppies, our own little awards handed out for during the year. We have some interesting categories: best team, best male-female players, best Twitter account, best live stream moment, best concession stand food, most quotable coach and player, and best roundtable guests. Brett,
kind of a sad, bittersweet day, isn't it?
It's a little bittersweet.
Season finale of the R&B Show, and tonight's Varsity Roundtable is the season finale. It's kind of winding down.
It's been long, but you know what, Brett? We're starting this up in about 2 months.
Well, so maybe you guys are. I was talking to Rosie. I said I think it's time for me to move on.
Grumpy Brett.
Time to do something else.
What are you angry about now, Brett?
I'm not angry. It's just time.
You know what you are? You're Grouchy Smurf. Remember Grouchy Smurf? I hate no.
Yeah.
How am I grouchy? Yeah. I'm 45 years old. I'm reevaluating where I am in my life right now.
You're one of the dwarves. You're grumpy. You're grumpy.
I was telling Rosie, I don't know if I can do this. August starts again. I don't know. Clubhouse Live. I don't know. I think it's time for somebody else to take it over.
You're like John Candy in Summer Rental. You need that time away. Build yourself a sailboat. And
what I need is to go up north and
get
get terrorized by Roman. And from the great outdoors.
Yeah, there you go.
What you need to do is you need to go out somewhere and just live for a couple months and get away from everything like David Letterman, grow the big beard. Don't see him for a while, coming back, and you're like a different guy. So I
don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the next 2 months
No,
bring.
we need you here, Brett. I need you here, and Rosie needs you here. So let's talk quickly.
Totally.
State track review. Brett, I'm going to start with you first because you were there as a fan.
Oh,
so
good to be
first
back.
off, did you like having it where we didn't really have any rain or any kind of horrible heat or anything like that?
Yeah, Friday was warm, very sticky, but my son ran in the afternoon session, so we got at the stadium by about 2:30, 2:45. You know, we had the mornings free, so when you get that 3 o'clock sun, it's not as hot and as intense. Boy, then the Saturday comes around. I didn't pack a top thinking it's always warm in La Crosse. It was actually pretty chilly.
Yeah.
The wind was blowing, but it's just great to be there. You sit in that grandstand area, and you're the Granddad Bluff overlooking everything. Went up there, took a spin up there, and overlooked the Mississippi Valley. It's just a great setting.
Now, word on the street, Brett, is that the Mexican food over there not very good. That's the word I hear on the street.
Yeah, it was a little. It didn't sit well with me. Let's just put it that way. But I want to say this, Ricardo. On Monday, my oldest, I'm not going to say other than very exciting news for him. So we celebrated in his honor by going to the new El Jarapeo in Little Chute. Fantastic.
Okay.
And I felt so much better about life again after that.
Yes, good Mexican food does
Chicken
that.
chimichanga, rice, guac. I love guacamole, refried beans.
Refried beans, though, that's my food.
But let me tell you this. I just want to say a thrill to be at La Crosse. And unfortunately, my son's relay team had a couple bad handoffs in prelims in the 4x2, so they DQ'd. But not a shock going in. They were 14th seeded going into the meet, top 10 qualify. So I know that going in, I was talking to the track coach before they left, and he said we're going to kind of stretch it a little bit. We're going to be aggressive with the handoffs, and what happens, just to try to climb those 10. So it wasn't an absolute shock that they fizzled out. The exciting thing for him is they're all back on that relay team, and it was just an accomplishment to get there, get that experience on that track, get that feeling of being part of a state meet, and hopefully that builds towards next year. And as much as I like being around you in the crew down in the pits of Memorial Stadium, I'd much rather watch one more meet from the stands. But we'll see.
Gotcha. We'll
see what happens.
Well, we hope that that's the case, bro.
I heard Dan Cohn did an admirable job.
Did a good job. Yes, he did. A very exhausting day for Dan Cohn, and want to give a shout out to him and Mike Sherry, who really put in incredible amounts of time to get everything done. But here are our 7 track champions, Brett. Cody Gebhardt of Chilton won the D2 discus. Hilbert Stockbridge, they won a couple events, the 3200 relay, the 1600 relay, the Kimberly boys 3200 Division 1 boys relay. Colin Enns of Nina, D1
ran a nice
400,
race.
ran an outstanding race. Great guy. Xavier's D2 400 girls relay, and then DJ Stewart in the D1 300 hurdles. Those are our 7 champions. I think 7 is about the average number that we usually get every year when we send all our athletes down. I've seen it be as much as 11 or 12, but usually it's right around 7.
And then hail to the Papermakers boys, dominant as we kind of predicted going into this. 74 points in a state meet.
And they should have scored more, in my opinion. I think I'm not going to mention the names, but some of the kids, I think they would admit that they underperformed. So, I mean, in my point, I would expect him to score 90 to 100, to tell you the truth.
It's always hard to say underperform because, as you know,
no, I mean,
it's the best of the best there. It's so hard.
I say that because there were in some of the events, there were some scratches and things like
that. Yeah, I know. I was looking at the jumps a little bit, actually, with DJ and Austin Wallace, too, not finishing maybe as high as they were seeded, but they also scored like 30 points just by themselves in the hurdle events, and also, what was it, 4x2? Part of the 4x2, I think, took 4th overall, so they had a fantastic meet. But it's interesting when you get there how good everybody is.
Unbelievable.
And talking about good, how about Kenny Bednarik?
How about Brooke Jaworski? Those two athletes. I sometimes you look back at what you cover, and you're going to have the privilege of covering, Olympians, potential Olympians when they were in high school. I think I might have seen that this year. So. It was an honor to see those. I mean, especially Bednarik. I mean, man, he wooed and awed everybody in the crowd. They were loving it.
That 200 prelim, I thought he was going to get 19. He was getting.
Yes.
I was watching the clock because I was by the finish line. I was like, this guy's going to crack. He's going to get 19 something. Mm-hmm. Connor, my youngest, actually texted me a little bit later that his time in the 200 prelims would have been 5th at the Olympics.
Wow.
He was looking at the times. I was like, what? I mean, it was. you'd have to be there to see it.
It's hard to explain this if you don't see this human being running as fast as he is. It is shocking, especially in relation to these other top athletes that he's running against.
Well, he gets out of the blocks in the 200, and you know where the 200 sets up, so he's going around the end zone. I think 20 meters in that rate, it was done.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't even hitting that final turn, and it was
well
over.
in that first stretch, when he first comes around, you see exactly when you see him passing everybody, and it was in the 400 too.
That was the 400 championship.
Yeah, the 400. The reaction from the crowd that was behind me was like incredible. Like, whoa, you're seeing this guy, man among boys, basically just obliterating everyone in that race.
At that point, I was actually at the very top of they have like a lookout view where you can standing room only, and when he took off, he was lane 5 in the 400. He got around that first corner, it was over, and you could hear the crowd gasp, like, oh, and then that backstretch, he put on the burners, and it was unbelievable because he's going against really good 400 runners.
Right,
he gets a 46.72, I think, to break his own state record, and he was dying at the end. So just think when he even gets better. Yeah, what kind of times he's going to be putting in that 400.
And for those of you who are asking, he's going to a 2-year college, like a JUCO, and then he'll be.
That's surprising to me.
But I did hear this from some of the folks down there, some of the coaches that Oregon is hot on his tail. So whenever he's done, getting his grades up or whatever he has to do to go to the community college, and then going to transfer to Oregon. This guy is an Olympian. I'm telling you, this kid's going to be an Olympian.
That was the one program I thought of right away. Is like because that was the murmur too. Is like, how is he going to a JUCO? Well, and I thought, why isn't a program like Oregon top-notch with those facilities, Tracktown USA? Why is he not out there or Big Ten or somebody? I don't know if it's grades or what, but does he need to go to school? Can he go right into Team USA?
That's a great question. I don't know how that'll unfold, but I'm sure that's a story that will be told by some of our state media.
I just will never forget those 2 races, but that 400 was just special to watch him make up the stagger that fast. It was just amazing.
I was there at state when Michael Bennett was setting those records. Now, he was obviously also in a league of his own, but he never ran the 400, though. He ran the 100 and 200 and some relays or whatever. So that very similar guys. Obviously, Michael Bennett, he's 10.33. I think he still holds the D1 record in the 100.
That's nuts.
So, but I think Kenny's record was tops over all divisions, wasn't it, in the D2 200 or – I want to say.
Well, he's got the 100, 200, and 400 records now in D2, and I'm guessing at least a couple of those are probably going to stand for quite some time.
Yes. So those are our 7 champions. Again, shout out to Kimberly for the boys' title and Xavier girls finishing as runner-up. They did a great job there. Real quick, going to switch to other events going on. State softball. I'm heading down there actually later tonight, Brett, because I have a game at 10 in the morning. I got to get there, because where Goodman Diamond is, we have to fight for parking spots with all the medical folks over there at the hospital.
So you're leaving in the morning?
I'm leaving. Yeah, no, I'm going tonight.
Oh, tonight after Roundtable?
Yeah, after Roundtable. So I'm going to go there so I can be there in the morning. Believe me, I've been there in the morning and had to hunt for spots and park way out, and I'm not walking 2 miles, back to the Diamonds.
Oh, they're talking about Mr. Prince here.
No.
Oh, here's the diva coming out.
It's one thing if you're walking 4 or 5 blocks. It's another when you have to walk 2 miles, and you still can't find a parking spot sometimes. I got to mess around with that.
Hey, when I covered Badger football games, they had us park by the Kohl Center. I always had to go walk back and forth, especially those night kickoffs. Some tipsy people there in Madison after 7 o'clock kickoff.
But that was back when you were that was back when you were a young man.
What are you saying?
I'm an old man now.
I'm chiseled.
Oh, you are. I'm sorry about
that.
Hey,
I took a 16-mile bike ride. Where you walking? Come on, let's bike together sometime this summer.
I'd have to buy a bike.
I got one for you.
You do?
Yeah.
Does it have a banana seat that I like?
No.
Well, then I'm not biking with you.
Oh,
I got to get the old. I got to get the old one with the and the little tassels. That's the way I roll.
You want the little basket and the bell too,
and the little ring.
Hey, shout out to Brett on Facebook. Mike Cruz says, "I need you here, Beast."
He does.
Yeah, whatever, Mike.
Well, state softball.
I appreciate that.
Appleton North and Wyriga Fremont are our 2 teams there. I'm covering both of them as well as Denmark for Green Bay. That kicks off again Thursday morning with the D1 quarterfinals. So I'll be busy there. So congratulations to North and Wyriga Fremont. I really think Wyriga Fremont's going to win that one, by the way. They're in D4. They dropped down to a division. They were in the D3 title game last year. Now they're in D4, and they play Thorpe in that opening round. And Appleton North, they seed the softball teams, but not the baseball teams, which I think is weird. They seeded Sun Prairie 1, so North, I guess, is seen as the 8th seed. So they're playing Sun Prairie. But
we'll see.
I did talk to Coach Mullen yesterday, and Sun Prairie no offense to the Cardinals, but their level of competition. I looked at they don't play anybody like what North play. Don't play no one like Oshkosh North or anybody like that.
That's kind of how it is usually, right? When you're in the FBA.
And you mentioned the FBA, so I think Appleton North feels pretty good about this matchup. I think you're going to have to play Sun Prairie anyway if you're looking to win the title, so why not play them right away? So, I hope best of luck to them.
Spash did not make it in
No,
softball?
Chippewa Falls upset them.
Oh, that Chippewa Falls got a nice program,
They're always
too.
a great program, yeah, exactly.
I see the Spash baseball team got knocked out by Eau Claire.
They did. Now, actually, I was moving to baseball next. Kimberly and St. Mary Catholic are in the state tournament, Brett. No surprise there. Well, I guess you can say for Kimberly, no seniors on that team.
That's amazing.
They were supposed to take a step back, relatively speaking, because they were the state champs last year. I saw them. They beat Hortonville on a walk-off single.
A gut punch to Hortonville.
And then they go in West De Pere. Now they took some advantage. They took advantage of some mistakes that West De Pere usually does not make. I could sense that West De Pere was maybe a little jittery, maybe a little bit playing the defending state champs. Because I talked to their coach afterwards. He's like, we can't seem to get over this hump, the sectional final. We can't seem to get past Kimberly. It's one of those things where they were just running roughshod through the bay. But again, the FBA where Kimberly I think was second because Hortonville won it. They popping through to the state tournament, Brett, with a young team. They're not supposed to be there, but they're there.
Why can I say, or why am I not surprised that the Papermakers pulled one out again? And I don't mean pull it out like they got lucky. They do what Kimberly does. And the bigger the game, the bigger the moments, the more they respond. I think you heard me react at my desk because I was following that Kimberly Hortonville game on Twitter. I thought Hortonville was going to have it. I think a 6-4 lead going into the 7th. They were up maybe as much as 6-2 at one time.
Yes. Yeah.
And all of a sudden I saw the score. Kimberly scores 3 runs in the 7th, bottom of the 7th to win it. And I was like, are you kidding me? They did it again.
Yeah.
And then to know that they have no seniors on this team, I figured then, okay, I said it's over now. They're going to beat West De Pere. They're going back to state for the 5th straight year. So credit
that's what happened.
Coach McGinnis. I mean, it doesn't matter. The program, the coach, the athlete, I mean, they're wired differently. I don't know what it is about Kimberly, but all across the board, when it's a big moment, they seem to respond, and they did again yesterday.
Well, I'm going to give a shout-out to Jordan Purdy because that kid had the walk-off single. Then he came back and took over for the young sophomore and pitched fantastic in relief, didn't allow a run or anything like that, used his defense wisely as well to help him, and he got the save in the win over West De Pere, and all of his teammates were so thrilled with him. He's a good kid. Some of the best friends you're ever going to have are on a team, Brett. You can tell that the team is very, very close. So congratulations to Jordan Purdy. That was a yeoman's effort by him yesterday in helping Kimberly to the state tournament.
You know what? I have so much respect for Ryan McGinnis, too. If you watch, and you'll see it again at state, I don't know how they do this, if they study video or if they have video, but I swear they must have spray charts because he's positioning his outfielders every at-bat when the other team's at the plate.
I did notice that.
I mean, they know exactly or have a pretty good idea where this kid might put it in play, and it's incredible how much detail and information that goes into the success of his program. I mean, not one at-bat is he wasting any sort of opportunity there to put his team in a position to succeed. It's incredible.
You know what the overwhelming aspect is of all the Kimberly teams that we see, whether they win state championships or they don't, they usually advance far in the playoffs. The low level of mistakes made.
Yes.
Anytime, I think in any sport, if you make less mistakes than your opponent, gives you a better chance to win. That was the thing with Kimberly. They don't make mistakes, and we've seen that throughout the whole gambit of sports.
Why is that, though?
Yeah, and that's something, we
They're
can
kids.
We can pick DJ and Austin Wallace and DJ Stewart. They're going to be our guests tonight on the roundtable. We'll pick their brains about that a little bit. Why is that the case, you guys? Is it coaching? Is it just a focus and intensity on you guys to make sure you do the little things right? Because that's the thing. You're always going to have a chance to win if you don't make mistakes.
No, exactly. But you're talking kids. These are high school kids. They're not professional athletes. Goes back to that one football season when they didn't turn the ball over the entire season.
You know what? And no one's ever measured that, but I wonder if that's ever happened before.
How do you do that?
D1 level.
In 14 games, no turnovers at high school.
Exactly. You're right.
That's just
mind-boggling.
It is mind-boggling, and as I said, a lot of kids, they get that pressure, like, oh man, what if I make a mistake? This is a big moment. They don't seem to care. I mean, It's like, bring it on. Unbelievable. But congratulations, and it would not surprise me if they end up in the state finals next Thursday in Division I. And just think what this team's going to be like next season.
Yeah.
They're all back.
Everybody.
They're a whole bunch of seniors on that team.
Well, switching to soccer, girls soccer, and we have a bunch of teams at the sectional level trying to get down to Uline Soccer Park. Appleton West, Kimberly Nina in Division 1, Wrightstown in New London, and Winneconne in Division 3, and then St. Mary Catholic in Division 4. So congratulations to, that's 7 teams that are still alive. That's incredible. I won't be covering state soccer, though, supposedly. I'm not on the list to cover that, but if we have a bunch of teams, they may send me down there anyway, because that's a lot of teams there, Brett.
Hey, you get a breather.
Yeah, notice another name on there, Kimberly.
Yep.
Kimberly's on there again. Boy, they're great at everything.
Well,
now,
how about St. Mary Catholic having a nice little spring?
bounce back season for the Zephyrs, so that's good to see.
And they're at state baseball, Zephyrs.
Yeah, that's right. And
year in and year
switching
out.
over to golf, SMC's Grant Boyson, 6th in Division 3. Congratulations to him. Brock Lenack from Kaukauna, 3rd in Division 1 at the state golf meet. Kudos to them for finishing their season strong. And then in tennis, Xavier Boys' tennis team finishes 2nd, the doubles team, I should say, and then the Nina team finishes 4th. So that's a wrap-up, Brett, on all our state stuff that's going down. So, we, again, year in, year out, plenty of folks in the respective state tournaments, Brett, because, again, this is the best area for high school sports.
And we're going to say this is the reason why today is the last day, by the way, of the roundtable in our podcast, because of state baseball next week. Kind of takes up a lot of that time. And then after that, summers have already well underway, and and summers are short, so it's going to be tough to get any more guests. So, yeah, you talk about the spring tournament season. It's going to be wrapping up here, within the week or so, week and a half.
Brett, it's time for the preppies. Now,
Explain
we've never
the
done
preppies.
we've never done this before. First off, preppies is just our little moniker for our
Talking about Saved by the Bell.
our awards, and it's named after Zach Morris from Saved by the Bell. Slater, as you all well know, always called him Preppy, so we called him the Preppies. And I have a picture of Zach Morris.
Better the preppies than the screeches.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be a screecher. We might have to include that next year. Have maybe the worst of the worst. But no, we don't.
Maybe Dustin Diamond lives in Wisconsin. He's had some troubles, and maybe we could bring him in to present that award.
That wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, there we go. It's awards time. So here we go. Here are the categories: best team, best male-female players, best Twitter account, best live stream moment, best concession stand food, most quotable coach and player, and best roundtable guest. So, if you guys want to pass on some of these, I can certainly fill in the blanks here for you guys. But best team, I know we can all offer I guess a nominee or whatever, and we'll decide who wins that one. So, Brett, we'll start with you. Best team that you've seen this year.
Best team that I've seen, I suppose the easy one would be the Kimberly football team, but I'm gonna go off a little bit. I'm gonna say the Kaukauna boys basketball team, because they beating that Milwaukee Washington team at the Kohl Center, highly skilled and talented physical team, 76-74 victory for the Ghosts. I'm gonna give it to them this year.
Rosie?
Oh, let's see. I think. I think I got to go with Kimberly football.
Okay,
it's just impressive.
Oh man, you put me on the deciding vote here, because I'm with Brett on this one, and I'm not no disrespect to Kimberly football, but I think the competition.
It was tough.
Kaukauna, Brett, let's be honest, maybe not seen as the better team out of those two teams. A lot of folks would think, Milwaukee Washington's a better team in this matchup.
Yeah.
So I got to go with I got to go with Kaukauna on this one too. So
I remember
boys,
when that game
basketball.
started. You and I talked. I said, I don't know how they're going to beat these guys, because Washington was they're pretty darn good. But that's no disrespect to Steve Jones and that 70-game winning streak.
Best male and female players, Rosie.
I think best male, I'm going to have to go with Therese Halliburton.
Okay.
And female, I think Sydney Levy.
Okay. Tyrese and Sid. Go ahead, Brett.
Male, I'm going to say DJ Stewart, because of the multifaceted athlete he is, going to North Dakota State. Obviously a star football player, and then you saw what he did in track and field. Girl, I'm going to go with Kari Brecky, because I didn't see a better point guard on the girls' basketball, and then she was part of that relay team that made it to state for Appleton North. That was the 4x1. I think they even got on the podium. So I'm gonna go with those two.
Okay, mine, Brett. So I guess I'm going with Brett on DJ Stewart, winning our Athlete of the Year for male. But I'm going with Vandenberg from Little Chute. If you look at the three sports that she played, performed at a high level, I'm gonna go with Vandenberg from Little Shoe.
Yeah, volleyball, hoops, and then
So
track.
here's our problem. Sydney Levy, Kari Brecky, and why am I forgetting her first name?
Hannah Vandenberg.
Hannah Vandenberg. I was saying Hope Vandenberg. But
Yeah.
can anyone be swayed?
I can be swayed because you're right. Hannah being, I think the 3-sport athlete trumps probably what my pick. And I'm sorry, Kari. A whole ton of respect for you and good luck in New Hampshire. But yeah, you're right. Hannah, I think she led the state in kills, right?
Oh,
in
man,
volleyball.
over 700. That is an incredible number.
Going to Marquette, and then a fantastic track athlete as well, and made it to
Just
state.
a junior.
Just a junior. She was part of the 4x1 that made it. 4x2 should have made it. They just had a tough little deal at sectionals, but yeah, she's pretty good.
Well, there we go. So that's what we. So it's Hannah Vandenberg for girls and DJ Stewart for boys. Best Twitter account. My favorite, Kari Brecky. Did you see the hype video they had?
Yeah, that was good.
Wasn't that not hilarious? Listen, day in, day out, she has funny little sayings or little retweets or quotes. She's fun to follow. If you don't follow her, please do. Kari Brecky on Twitter. That's, in my opinion, that's a slam dunk.
I'll give you that. And that was a fantastic video, though. You mentioned about us doing something. I can't move like that.
Yeah.
I can't move
doing
like
the dances?
that.
You can't do none of the
You don't
dances?
want to see me move like
Okay.
that. So let's just move on.
That's a clean sweep. It's Brecky.
Okay. Best live stream moment. Do we have a consensus here? Because, listen.
Yes, I know what it is.
It's easy for. I mean, it might be the lowest hanging fruit here is the Lechner touchdown.
No, that's not what I'm thinking.
Oh, I'm talking live stream moment
Yes.
now.
Yes.
Okay. Well, what's your
Mine
offer?
is the fumble at the goal
Oh,
line.
you stole mine.
Oh.
Fond du Lac, Kimberly. I
Okay.
believe that was that a playoff? No, that was not a playoff
I
game.
thought that was a
Was it a
playoff
playoff
game.
game?
I thought that was a playoff
Was
game.
it a
Yeah.
playoff game to go to? Yeah, the level
Yes.
3. Looked
Okay.
like Fond du Lac was going to punch it in and tie that score up, and the Fond du Lac football quarterback, I can't remember his name, feel bad for the kid. 4th down, 4th and goal. Ball was at the 1, I think.
Okay.
Yes.
And he just
Yes,
kind
it
of
was.
backed out. Kimberly pounces on it. Game over. Winning streak goes on.
Well,
and we were going nuts that
Yeah,
night.
that's what
Okay.
mine was.
Okay, it's all right. You guys won the majority vote on that. Okay.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say the touchdown to Lechner. But you know what? Now that you explained it to me,
I mean, that was a
That's
huge
okay,
moment.
yeah.
That was a back and forth game.
and it was a playoff game. So,
Remember, Fond du Lac, I think they took an uppercut and then battled back in
Yeah.
that one, if I remember right. And then it was kind of back and forth, and somehow that Kimberly defense held. I'd have to go back and maybe I'm going to go back and watch the game after this.
Yeah. Now, would they have taken the lead on that?
No,
if
I
they
think
would've scored or
I
tied
thought it was going to tie it.
Okay.
Well,
Potentially tie it.
Okay, so we're you guys won the 2-1. I completely agree with you on that. I mean, you guys won, so Fond du Lac fumble against Kimberly. Best concession stand food. Now I'll start this one because I've already picked my. It's the Rhinable cookie at Xavier. If you've never had it before, I don't care if you don't like sweets. I don't care if you can't have sugar. Risk your life. Go have a Rhinable cookie. I'm telling you, Brett.
I have a very big sweet tooth, and Mr. Rhinable's cookie, not only is it unbelievably delicious at Xavier, you need to bring your own carton of milk. Because
Yes. You know what?
You
You're
got to
right.
wash it down with that.
Yeah.
It
And
is
do they
delicious.
that's one thing maybe, Xavier, you can do is maybe sell white milk, like little cartons of white milk, because you do need some liquid
Yeah.
refreshment
Oh,
to
my
wash
gosh.
that cookie
Yeah.
down. Rosie, are you
Big
on
old
board with
chocolate
this?
I am
cookie.
totally on board. In
Okay.
fact, they need something on the billboards around
Home
the
of the
stadium.
Rhinable cookie.
Yes. Yeah.
Mr. Rhinable's famous cookie, named, of course,
And he only-
baked by the former principal there.
And he only makes a certain amount. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
right?
I've even seen him at the downtown farmers market here in Appleton.
Oh,
he's,
wow,
He's selling.
okay.
He's got a little stand, Mr.
Yeah.
Rhinable's famous cookie. But I didn't sample as much concession cuisine as you.
Right.
We usually just get some popcorn. By the way, can I say can state lacrosse at Stake maybe can they switch that up a little bit instead of having to buy a ticket and then go into a
That
tent?
is annoying. I think
Yeah.
it's because you're dealing with college kids, and sometimes college kids have a tendency to pocket a couple of singles there, my friend. I think that's why they
I don't
have
like
that.
that. I think that's a crazy setup. But go ahead.
Most quotable coach and player. Now, maybe that's more so me because I interviewed a bunch of guys. I don't know if you guys want to weigh in on this. But for me, for the most quotable player, it was easily Jordan McCabe. That's for me. He's well-versed. He's been doing it since he was a little kid, so he's well-versed on how to, talk to folks and everything like that. So that's an easy one for me. Brett, did you have any interest in that?
No, that's-
and Rosie,
I'll-
obviously, you don't really talk to the players.
No, just when they're here.
Oh,
That's
really?
about it.
Yeah, when they're here for round table.
My most quotable coach, Joe Russell.
Okay.
Joe Russell, because he'll tell you as it is. And I'm going to miss having him as a resource. So
I thought maybe Steve Jones might be up
well,
there.
he was there too, but Russum has a tendency to really let things go off the cuff. You know what I mean, and kind of give you his real feelings and stuff like that. Where Coach Jones is more reserved.
How about Thane Jones?
Thane Jones was close. I was considering him and Russum, but I went with Russum.
By the way, I ran into Thane at state track.
A little upset, huh?
I was on Saturday. There was I think a false start in the 110s and the hurdles, and it involved one of his athletes, and he a little not as jovial as I had come to see him here during down the stretch. But boy, that was a team that had high hopes, and unfortunately, just some things, as you know, a lot of it's luck, and he was a little cranky.
Best roundtable guest, and this is our final
one.
This
is an easy one for me.
Okay, maybe it is. You want to go ahead and give yours?
I'm gonna go combo. I'm gonna go Tyrese, Quincy, Jordan McCabe, and Sidney Levy. That was an epic show when we had them all on. That was the best show. The numbers were fantastic. It was a FBA celebration of hardwood dominance. That was just a fun night.
Mine goes to Lexi Schneider of Appleton East. This is my nominee. Just for her story alone, where she was playing in a game and she kind of had a little bit of an accident, if you know what I mean.
Maybe go back and watch.
Yeah, you might have to go back and watch it. Very entertaining. Appleton East was very entertaining on that show. Also want to give a shout out, I think, to Winneconne Soccer was great as well on the show. But that's my nominee. But Rosie, your thoughts on this? Because you're going to have the deciding vote, it may appear.
Well, I keep thinking back to, was it the Freedom Girls softball game or team that was on here where it was just questions that were never asked before,
right,
and it was nothing like we've ever had.
I was running the live chat then, and there were some deep questions that were coming in.
That was just unbelievable.
See, now we have a three-way tie. Anyone want to change their votes? I guess now that he mentioned the quartet.
That was epic.
That was epic.
I might have to go with that one, even though Freedom was great.
Yeah. Not only that, but we had all the trophies on the locker.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay, so
that's a rarity that we can have something like that.
That was fantastic.
FBA love, I'll put down and make sure we have that. So that's it. That's our opening, our first ever preppies, and I'll mention all that in the Twitter when I retweet this out or whatever. So that was
How about
fun.
the most consecutive days wearing shorts at work? That goes to Rosie.
That goes to Rosie.
Thank you.
I don't know. Didn't Mike Sherry wear them a bunch of times? Who has been on has filled in for you once in a while. We might have to. That might be a battle between you two.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I've been rocking the shorts a lot.
But, guys, it's been fun. I want to thank you both for helping me do this little endeavor here. We've been talking about it for years. We finally got down to it. We made it through a whole season, 38 shows, and we'll be back in late August. I'm guaranteeing that.
Sponsors. We need sponsors.
We'll have some sponsors, too, as well.
Mid-August. Would it be mid-August?
Mid-August, yes.
Yeah.
Actually, we will.
That's not very far.
No,
well, of course, this is a time, Rosie. Well, you too, Ricardo. We'll take some vacation time. And
yes.
Because once August hits,
it's over.
There's no vacation time
not until the holidays.
That's right.
Well, even then, it's spotty.
Yeah.
So hey, I got to say, we got a comment from Christy Swishter on Facebook. Why not a word about tonight's Appleton West sectional girls game at Bayport? Shame on you.
Well, I did mention them. I said that soccer, Appleton West, is playing in the sectionals now. But I also mentioned the 6 other teams that are playing the sectional level: Kimberly, Nina, Wrightstown, New
Terrors
London,
a little love,
St. Mary
would you?
Catholic. No, and I wouldn't say they're a bit of a surprise, but they've been playing solid all year. I know they beat Appleton East, which was a very good team to get to the sectionals. So congratulations to the Terrors. Best of luck tonight. Hey, hopefully we'll see you down at State because we want to pop on through as many local teams as we can.
We
to
should
Uline.
give a preppy to the best AD.
Oh yeah, well who?
I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but
well, we have a few that wouldn't be nominated, so we can't mention those names, but. Yeah, go ahead. You can name some.
I'm not saying a word.
What about like best student section from the places we've been?
That's tough.
How about
I don't know.
Press box most in need of an upgrade? I'll have to say Freedom High School. That's
Freedom
you guys.
High School.
Guys, come on, we want to be there. We want to be there, but we can't be there.
Now you're going off on a tangent here. Let's wrap this up. We can always
it's a podcast.
Save those.
Hey,
for
we're
next
very
year.
lucky with all the ADs we get to deal with. They're all fantastic.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you guys. So thank you so much for all the help that the ADs have provided this year, and thank you again to Brett and Rosie. We'll come back here in August for the second season of
Are you sure?
The R&B Show. I will make it so. Make it
sure?
so. So last time, Brett, can you hit the camera?
Football first, because we've got to start thinking about football, I guess, already.
Yes.
Of course, I do want some time on the
there.
lake.
Look at that.
A little lake time, a little warmth time.
Yes. I hear you.
Oh, that was dead
right
center.
Here.
I'm going to watch the replay.
It's coming
again.
up.
Come on.
Coming up.
Show me.
Boom.
Bam.
Yeah.
Basketball was the same way. Check
Just
this
like
out.
in Hoosiers, man.
Yeah, I'm like Jimmy Chitwood. I'll make it